Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Modi government announced a major and long-awaited reform of defence manufacturing today by abolishing the Ordnance Factories Board and corporatizing all its activities. Now that's a major reform and we had meant to talk about that in detail today, but you know what? Something or the other always happens to upset your plans. So our plans today got upset. Blame the Congress party if you wish to, but it's one of those rare days when Congress party is making all the political news. So it started with its former chief minister in Goa, Luigiano Falero, leaving the party and joining TMC, going towards TMC. That is one. And then it became a day of entries and part departures. So what happened today? You had Kanhaiya Kumar and Jignesh Mevani, two fiery speakers, leftists, one from Bihar, one a Dalit from Gujarat. Both attract crowds, both can say stuff on camera that many other senior congressmen are shy of speaking. So their coming in was seen to be as a big story, big positive story for the Congress party. This was seen to be Rahul Gandhi's one decisive step forward in terms of his changing the Congress party fundamentally. Now as that was happening, with this news which Congress party would have thought or Rahul's people would have thought was positive news, this was overshadowed by negative news coming from where but Punjab, because they had started something in Punjab a few days back, but that was again like a patient who the surgeon had cut open but had not stitched it back safely. So that crisis built up there, and in Punjab PCC chief, the newly appointed PCC chief Navjot Singh Sidhu or Sherry Sidhu, he lasted just 72 days and he quit, saying that he'll serve the party but he cannot see disservice being done to Punjab, and he used colorful language. We know that he tries to write also as he speaks, so a lot of alliteration and all that. So it's written in his own alliterative manner, so don't ask me to repeat it because it's a bit of a tongue twister as usual, and I don't quite have the articulation of Navjot Singh Sidhu to get away with it. So that story came in and that again overshadowed everything. With that, Amrinder Singh arrived in Delhi and there were rumors that he was going to meet Amit Shah. In fact, there were people saying, I'm sure at this point he's sitting with Amit Shah. Then after that, there's going to be a meeting with JP Nadda, which indicates or which might indicate that he's on his way to joining the BJP. While that was floating, Amrinder Singh's people said this is a personal visit, we will not talk about any plans. And on top of everything came Navjot Singh Sidhu's resignation. Now I will not talk too much about this in detail, nor about the Jignesh Mevani, Kanhaiya Kumar situation. For that, I am sure you will catch the live conversation where our political editor DK Singh, who knows this very well, they will be answering your questions live. So do check it out. I will also check it out there because I will get some gyan from them because they know more than me in these areas. I will look at the larger picture of Congress party and the states and how Congress party's inability to handle its state leaders and state politics has actually led to its destruction over the decades. Over the decades means over the tenure of three leaders, that is Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Because what is India's politics? I always say, think of India's politics like a best of 9 sets tennis match. You know, best of 9 sets, whoever wins 5 of the 9 will win the match. So these 9 sets can be, say, Uttar Pradesh, combined Bihar. I will take still states as combined as Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, the combined one, 42 seats, Karnataka and so on and so forth. So if you take these 10 states, then these add up to about 350 seats. So I have always said whoever wins 5 of these will generally get to about 200. 200 is the new 272. Of course, if you get 272 plus as Narendra Modi got, that's fantastic for him. But if nobody gets that majority, at 200, you can safely build a coalition, or you can think I can build a coalition. Now, how does the Congress party do on that measure? Because once again, India has to be won or lost state by state, or if it's a tennis match, set by set. Now, I will take you back to 1977. 1977 is the first time when Congress loses power in the country. After the emergency, Mrs. Gandhi gets routed. But she gets routed in all of the Hindi heartland, in many other states, in Punjab, in Bengal, but she still gets a bunch of seats. Where do those seats come from? Those seats come from mostly the south. Now, if I tell you the figures of that election, 1977, when she got defeated in the Hindi heartland and other states so comprehensively, in Andhra Pradesh, her party won 41 seats out of 42, 41 out of 42, and Karnataka 26 out of 28. So that is how strong her party's hold over Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh was. This is two of these sets that we are talking about. How were these lost? And similarly, although in 1977 she did not do so well in Odisha or Odisha as it was called then, but Odisha is also a state from where Congress used to get a lot of seats. It also sends 20 seats to parliament. Once again, I will tell you how they lost Odisha. And after that, how they lost Assam. So Assam may not be in these 10, but the fact is, there's these states together, that is Andhra, combined Andhra, that is today's Andhra plus Telangana, Karnataka, Odisha and Assam. Together, they account for a lot of seats in national parliament. In fact, why leave it to speculation? I can give you the exact count. Andhra, combined Andhra is 42, 25 Andhra, now 17 Telangana. Assam is 14, Karnataka is 28, Odisha is 21. So if you add this up, just Andhra, Karnataka and Odisha is 91 Lok Sabha seats, and if you add Assam also, that is 14 more, 105. The reason I am listing these states and I am adding Assam in is that you can see that how the Congress is paying for its inability to deal with its regional leaders and its states. So go back first of all to Anjiyar, because before I take you to Andhra Pradesh and what happened in Virendra Patil in Karnataka, I will also remind you that occasions when it looked like Mrs. Gandhi needed a safe seat, where did she go and contest? She contested once in Medak, that was in Andhra then, and once she went to Chikmagalur. Chikmagalur was in Karnataka. Even Sonia Gandhi later, when she was faced by a tough challenge from Sanjay Singh in Amethi, she contested also from Bellary. So in fact, the slogan that Sanjay Singh's people had in that election was, the favorite slogan was, Sanjay Singh ke dar ki mari, Sonia bhag gayi Bellary. Of course, after that Sanjay Singh has come into the Congress and left many times. But that is where Gandhi family used to go. They had safe harbors or a safe haven in these states of the south. That is Karnataka and Andhra. Even now, when Rahul saw the going was tough, it looked tough in Amethi, where did he go? He went to Kerala, because now in Andhra and Karnataka there is no safe seat, but Kerala, particularly Wayanad, was seen as a safe seat. So the south is where the Congress still retained strength when it had lost. So see how the Congress lost these two key states of the south. So first of all, because it's also more recent, it's in our memory, what happened with Andhra? Because we know that in Andhra, suddenly, sui generis, from nowhere, one phenomenon of its own kind rose. That was N.T. Ramarao. Now, we had seen film stars, big local film heroes becoming very popular politicians in Tamil Nadu, MGR for example. But these were people who were riding already existing ideologies and parties. In Andhra, I use the word sui generis because NTR produced politics of his own. And what was the centerpiece of politics? That was Telugu pride. In Telugu, actually, it was Telugu Vari Atma Gauravam. Atma Gaurav is self-respect. So how was he able to build such strong politics on that one idea? That happened because before that, T. Anjaya, who was quite a popular politician and Dalit, he was publicly humiliated by Rajiv Gandhi, who got irritated with him. How did he get irritated in 1982? He was not even the party president yet. He had gone on a private visit to Andhra. He landed in Hyderabad at the airport, and the Chief Minister T. Anjaya was there with his bandobast, hundreds of people with dhol, baja, shor sharaba, dancing, and Rajiv didn't like it. So Rajiv tried to complain about it, saying, what the hell have you done? And I think even then Anjaya might have tried to say something flattering to him, and Rajiv got angry and called him a buffoon in front of everybody. And after that, he was told to leave, and he left in the next 3-4 days. In fact, his popularity was seen in the fact that when he addressed a public rally after resigning, he had more than 30,000 people who were cheering him wildly. Because at the grassroots level, he was a popular, humble, self-effacing Dalit leader and was seen as that. And after that, that set into motion a very complex process of one chief minister after another, chief minister after another. I will give you the listing in a bit. And that was then projected by N.T. Rama Rao as an insult to Telugu people, as an insult to Andhra Pradesh. And that's why an entire ideology and regional party was built on Telugu Vari Atma Gauravam. So 1984 to 89, NTR ruled the state. Once again, Congress got the state back. But yet they were not able to handle the state, because in their 5 years they gave the state 3 chief ministers, that is M. Chenna Reddy, N. Janardhan Reddy, K. Vijay Bhaskar Reddy. And even before that, after they had removed Anjaya, just after a year and 36 days, right, even then they had put B. Venkatram Reddy 208 days, K. Vijay Bhaskar Reddy 111 days. So 3 chief ministers then also, and 3 now again. So once again NTR came back and saying, see, these guys from Delhi, from the High Command, that is how they treat our state. They treat our chief ministers like doormats. So have a chief minister who will be the pride of Telugu people, and have a party, Telugu Desam Party, which will be the pride of the Telugu people. And so from then, Congress party lost control over Andhra. Only once did it get it back, and that was taken back for it, wrested back for it, a very hardworking young politician called YSR, YS Rajshekar Reddy, who Rajiv Gandhi had picked up when he was a very young man. Rajiv Gandhi had seen that talent, and he then went round the state, built his politics, built his popularity, and won the state. And he won not 1 but 2 elections in the state. Not only did he win 2 assembly elections in the state, he also won the Congress party the bulk of the seats from the state. So the state once again became the god of the Congress party in Lok Sabha. But for him and the seats that he got in 2004, defeating Chandrababu Naidu, Congress party would never have been able to get enough seats to form the UPA. Remember, they only had a few more seats than the BJP. So BJP wasn't able to form an NDA government, but Congress formed a UPA government. So YS Rajshekar Reddy made a big contribution. He won a second election, which was again great for the Congress party. Remember, 2009 Congress party came back with even larger numbers, and then fate intervened. Within about 111 days in the next chief ministership, he died in that unfortunate helicopter crash. As that happened, Congress party was back to its own ways, because what YSR had done, YSR's existence and his strength in Andhra, he was very popular with Sonia Gandhi, etc. But his presence in Andhra and his strength in Andhra and his dominance in Andhra was antithetical to the Congress party's way of running politics. So they were tolerating him because he was getting the seats, he could win his election. He was also very smart in terms of playing internal party politics. He also kept the party very well funded. So he did not give the party that reason to complain. So they could not mess with him. But once he was gone, the party wasn't willing to accommodate his son in his place. And we know that YS Jagannath Reddy, Jagmohan Reddy came to Delhi, sought time, he was not given time. he thinks he was treated quite badly, and he was told, what do you want? You can become a minister of state in Delhi. How can we give you a chief ministership just like that? There were corruption cases against him. It was also the season of corruption. He went to jail, but then he came out. He basically picked up the mantle from his father and has swept the state since then. And in the process, Congress party lost the state. It is because Congress party was not able to keep its party together, state unit together, and have a strong leader, that the state split. Had YSR been there, there was zero chance of Telangana coming up, at least in this time frame. I am not saying it would never have come up, but at least in this time frame. Today you have a situation where Congress, which had such a safe haven in Andhra, has 0 seat in today's Andhra and almost nothing in Telangana, because whatever they had slowly has now been eroding because people are leaving the party. So that is how they lost this state. How did they lose Karnataka? That is a very similar story in many ways. In Karnataka, in 1989, the Congress came back to power after Bommai, Hegde, etc. And Virendra Patil was the chief minister. Virendra Patil was also quite a powerful and quite a popular chief minister. Remember, he was also a leading light of the Lingayat community. The two dominant castes electorally in Karnataka are the Vokkaligas and the Lingayats. So he was a strong, powerful Lingayat leader. He suffered a paralytic attack when he was chief minister. And while he was recovering from his paralytic attack, communal riots started in Karnataka. Now, a lot of people say that these were started by his rivals who thought this is a good time to get rid of him. That is around time that Rajiv Gandhi visited Karnataka because there were communal riots. So he came to Virendra Patil's house. He was bedridden. He spoke to him for some time. The story goes, Virendra Patil's version was that he was never told that he will be replaced. But Rajiv Gandhi then told the PCC chief, that Oscar Fernandez, then if I remember correctly, that he will be, a new CLP will be called and the chief minister will be replaced. And that led to a bit of a mess because PCC chief said, I am calling a CLP, much like the PCC chief in Punjab just now said that I'll call the CLP without the chief minister, right? So I'm just drawing parallels because it's the same kind of mishandling that loses the Congress party states. In this case, the governor of Karnataka then was a man who followed the rules, and he said, look, if the CLP leader is not there, if the CLP leader is not convening it, I will not have the party chief convene this Congress legislature party if the CLP leader is not there. So Congress party got so furious that they imposed president's rule in their own state run by their own party. They imposed president's rule briefly, and then they appointed two chief ministers one by one, Bangarappa and also Virappa Moily, both backward castes, and both didn't last, both had short tenures. So what happened in 1994, Congress party got wiped out, and that is the first time that a kind of regional party rose there, that is in the form of Deve Gowda. And since then, Deve Gowda and his son has been chief minister twice, once in partnership with Congress, once with BJP. Deve Gowda has been chief minister and the prime minister. Congress party has never got that control back on the state. It came to power a couple of times. SM Krishna came to power once, but even that tenure was not full. Somewhere around the last year in his tenure, he was replaced with Dharam Singh, very nice man, but a man from say Uttar Pradesh, a person from Hindi background, a Thakur from the Hindi heartland, who really had no roots in Karnataka. So once again, Congress has not recovered from that, although they got power back once. And that was when Siddaramaiah won an election for them. Siddaramaiah had now defected from Deve Gowda's party to the Congress party. But once again, what happened because of this, that is worth noting. What happened because of Congress's mishandling of its preeminent Lingayat leader in Karnataka was that the Lingayat vote began leaving the Congress party because they thought its high command had insulted the Lingayats. And Lingayat vote then slowly and then rapidly shifted to the BJP. That's why BJP chief ministers Yediyurappa, now Bommai, Lingayats. Vokkaliga vote has mostly gone with Deve Gowda and his family, right? but Lingayat vote went to the BJP. So look at the BJP's record. BJP used to have a 0 in Karnataka, again a Congress safe haven. But in 1989 elections, BJP got 4 seats in Karnataka Assembly. Congress got 178. That is the election in which Virendra Patil led the Congress party. 178, right, out of 220 something. In 1994, BJP went from 4 to 40. That is 10 times. Congress party went down from 178 to 34. Essentially because a lot of the Lingayat vote left it, right? 1999, Congress did sort of all right. Congress got 132 seats, BJP got 44 seats, JDS and Socialist, JDU and JDS got about 10 and 6 seats. That doesn't matter. So 1999, Congress came back. But once again in 2004, because by now the BJP was growing. So 4 to 40, 40 to 44, now BJP came to 79. And since then, you can see that BJP, either in partnership with somebody or on its own, has ruled Karnataka for a long time, and it's no longer a safe haven for the Congress party. In fact, Congress party drew a blank in last Lok Sabha election. So these are stories that tell you how Congress party loses the states. Again, if you look at Odisha, used to be Congress Gad, although Biju Patnaik was strong there, Naveen Patnaik's father. But J.B. Patnaik was chief minister twice. First time 4 years, 181 days, removed. Himananda Biswal put there for just a few days. It didn't last, right? A completely temporary night watchman kind of chief minister, and people didn't like it, so people punished the Congress party. 95 to 99, J.B. Patnaik again became chief minister, but yet again he was removed after 3 years and 39 days only, because there were again scandals about him, right? As he was removed, a man called Giridhar Gomang, who was a wonderful man, a tribal leader, wonderful man, he was made chief minister, but really not competent enough to be chief minister, not popular enough, and he got into trouble when the super cyclone hit Odisha. And the story goes, read the book called Naveen Patnaik, which is a fine biography written by journalist Ruben Banerjee, who mentions that when the super cyclone was coming, in fact, there was a puja being held in Girdhar Gomang's house. These wise priests and astrologers had been called in from Puri, who were giving their own sense of what will happen to the cyclone. And one said the cyclone will split. One leg of the cyclone will go to Bengal, and one set of the cyclone will go to Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha will be spared, right? The other one said the cyclone will be a bit like it comes and strikes your chest, right? And it will be thrown back with equal force, so it will then go back to the sea. So Girdhar Gomang's chest or his power will throw it back, because this one said the configuration of the planets is a bit like that. And third one said, don't worry, the cyclone will come, but it will fly overhead, nothing will happen. That super cyclone killed more than 10,000 people in Odisha. So after that, Giridhar Gomang was removed, and once again temporarily as night watchman, who was brought in? The Ishant Sharma of Congress's Odisha politics, that is Himananda Biswal, yet again for 90 days. And after that then came Naveen Patnaik, and he hasn't gone away. He's ruled for more than 20 years. So Congress lost these 3 major sets like that. And Assam is more recent. We know it was their inability to handle Himanta Biswa Sarma's ambition, and Himanta Biswa Sarma's talent was undoubted. Any good party should have tried to keep him in the camp, but they lost him, and with that they lost not just Assam but all of the northeast. So some of what's playing out right now in Punjab is a repeat of this, and you can see that the similar things have been done by Mrs. Gandhi in Andhra, because Rajiv was then not the party president, Rajiv Gandhi in Karnataka, and now is Rahul repeating that in Punjab after having done so in Assam, and more importantly for yet another time in Andhra Pradesh, in terms of failing to accommodate YS Jagan Mohan Reddy's ambitions and his claim to power, and he's justified his claim to power now by winning repeated elections.